I have the Rockies ranked 29th in baseball. According to Fangraphs, they're ranked 30th for the 2024 season. The goals for the year is to just improve. I think they have the potential to improve and not be awful. They're going to be the fifth place team in the NL West no matter how hard they try, but just to not be awful. Key additions: Jalen Beeks was claimed off waivers. They traded for Cal Quantrill. They brought in Dakota Hudson, who's been a solid pitcher in the past, Jacob Stallings to be a backup catcher. Key losses: Brent Suter, Chris Flexen, and Harold Castro are three guys who were part of the roster a year ago. And Brian Servant, I guess they lost, but he's not necessarily too big of a deal. Their rotation has Kyle Freeland, who's been good in the past. The thing about the Rockies is in Colorado, the ball travels a lot. It's difficult to be a very good pitcher in Colorado. You got Cal Quantrill, who's been solid in the past. Austin Gomber, who they got from, I believe, the Arenado trade. You got Ryan Feltner, who was a fourth-round pick in 2018 by the Rockies. And you have Dakota Hudson, who they just signed out of free agency. Fangraphs doesn't like any of these guys statistically. I think their best pitcher is Cal Quantrill. Quantrill has potential. I just think his pitch mix, I don't think will work that well in Colorado. I think the pitching staff is not good. Justin Lawrence is their projected closer. He's got a good sweeper. He's a sidearm guy. They have an okay bullpen, not great. Again, pitching in Colorado is incredibly difficult for most people. The catcher projected for next year is Elias Diaz, an all-star catcher. They have Jacob Stallings backing up, but Drew Romo, who's an elite defender in the minors or projects to be an elite defensive catcher, who's a switch hitter, he's a solid hitter. I think he can be really solid. And I also forgot to mention in the first round by the Rockies. I doubt he does get called up, but he could in 2024. The first base position is going to be manned by Chris Bryant. He's no longer going to be a third base or outfield. He's projected to just be at first base, and I think he could surprise some people. He's been solid as a hitter when he's healthy. He just has not been too healthy since being in Colorado. His power's kind of diminished, but last year he had a 680 OPS in 80 games. Not great, but he was injured. The year before that, 851. He's only played like 120 games as a Rocky in 2 years. I think as first baseman, he loses some value. He's not a power hitter at all. Second base, they got Brendan Rodgers, who struggled a year ago. Foolish Bailey said that he's one of his projected surprising players who he likes for the year. He's been a great defender in the past. And then there's a guy like Adel Amador, who's a young second base prospect who's probably the future there, but I don't know what the story is going forward for this year. Ryan McMahon is the third baseman. He's a solid power hitter in Colorado, kind of makes it difficult to gauge. Is he really a really good power hitter, or is it just because of the Coors Field effect? I think he's a solid hitter. He's, I think, a very good defender. You got a top prospect named Sterling Thompson, who's a third baseman who could potentially get called up at some point during the year. But I do think Ryan McMahon is either a trade candidate if he's solid as a power bat, or he might just sit there at third base. At shortstop, you got Ezekiel Tovar, who was a really good defender a year ago. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he either won the Gold Glove or was in contention for the Gold Glove, which that award doesn't really mean much these days. Ezekiel Tovar is young. He struggled a little bit, but I think he can surprise people. I really liked him going into the big leagues a year ago. He has a full year under his belt. Again, he's going to get an opportunity to play every day. He's a solid defender. I think Ezekiel Tovar could be solid this upcoming year. Projected in left field is Nolan Jones, and he's one of the guys I think can disappoint some people. He was really good last year, and I think he will be really good going forward, and I'm frustrated the Guardians traded him away because I think he's good, and he's a very good power bat. The only thing is his BABIP, batting average on balls in play, was 400. There's going to be regression there. You cannot keep that up for several seasons. Nobody's able to do that. The average BABIP is about a 300, which means his batting average will probably go down at least 50 points, if not 70 plus. He was really good a year ago, and I don't see him being bad. I just don't think he's going to be this a silver slugger type of guy with a 931 OPS. I think his OPS might end up being more in the 780 to 820 range. I still think he's going to be good. I just don't think Nolan Jones is going to be the elite outfielder he was a year ago. Brenton Doyle, not a very good offensive player, was really bad at the plate a year ago, has good speed and good defense. I think Brenton Doyle's a solid defender. I don't know that he's the future there. And in right field is projected Sean Bouchard. He's had short stints in the big leagues. His baseball savant page looks good. Like there's a lot of red on the page, which is good. And he has been solid in his allotted time and his given time in the big leagues. I think if you give him a full season, he might be good, especially at Coors Field. There really isn't much on the bench to be excited about. There's a guy named Yanquiel Fernandez who maybe could get up in the next couple years, who's a very solid top of the line prospect for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon is apparently not even projected to be in the lineup. He was really solid last year. According to Fangraphs, he's not going to be in the lineup, but I still think he might make it if he hasn't retired. I have no clue where he is on the page. But yeah, I think my over-under that I personally gave for them was 63.5. I think mine is a little high. I think they're going to go 60 and 102, an improvement by one game. I think they have the potential to be a 70-plus win team and kind of be an okay team. Like I think instead of being ranked 29th at the end of the year, they could be ranked about 25th. Vegas has their odds at 60.5. I think it's perfect odds. If I were to be betting on 60.5, I would bet the over. Even though I'm projecting them to win 60, I would still bet the over on 60.5. That is the Rockies 2024.